Two brothers, one crown, one sword. In the 4th century, on the high plateaus of East Africa, Ezana and Saizana rose to power over a kingdom so wealthy and strategic that a Persian writer named it one of the 4 greatest on earth, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. From the mountains to the Red Sea, they crushed rebellions, commanded fleets, and forged Africa's first Christian empire. This is the untold story of the warlord brothers of Aksum. Before the brothers' reign, the kingdom of Aksum was already a marvel. It was not a remote tribal kingdom. It was a cosmopolitan, literate, and wealthy state, rising from the Ethiopian and Eritrean highlands, overlooking the Red Sea. Aksum's location was everything. To the west, caravan routes led into Nubia and beyond to the African interior. To the east, the Red Sea served as a watery highway to Arabia, the Indian Ocean, and the Mediterranean world. Its main port, Adulis, was the lifeline of the kingdom, a marketplace where Roman merchants bargained for ivory, gold, and frankincense, and Indian traders exchanged silk and spices. The kingdom minted its own gold, silver, and bronze coins, a clear sign of its sophistication, and spoke its own written language, Ge'ez. Multilingual inscriptions in Ge'ez, Greek, and Sabaean, carved on stone stelae, proclaimed the might of its kings to a world audience. Yet Aksum was not without threats. Nomadic raiders to the north disrupted trade. Rival kingdoms in Arabia eyed Red Sea dominance. And within the empire, conquered peoples sometimes rose in defiance. When King Ella Amida died, his son Ezana inherited not a stable throne, but a precarious balance of power. Ezana was too young to rule alone. His mother, Queen Sophia, acted as regent, surrounding herself with a court of seasoned advisors. Among them were 2 remarkable foreigners, Frumentius and Odysseus, young Syrians whose ship had been wrecked on the Red Sea coast. Captured and brought to the Aksumite court, they impressed the king with their intelligence and were given positions of trust. Frumentius, a Christian, began to influence the royal household. Under his tutelage, Ezana learned not only the skills of governance and military leadership, but also the teachings of a new faith that was sweeping the Roman world. Beside Ezana stood his brother Saizana. While Ezana was groomed in diplomacy, law, and religion, Saizana trained for war, mastering the use of the spear, the shield, and the tactics that had kept Aksum's armies victorious for generations. They were an unusual pair, Ezana the thinker, Saizana the fighter, but together they would prove unstoppable. If you think Africa's ancient rulers played only a local game, keep watching. Ezana and Saizana's campaigns reached across deserts, mountains, and seas. Subscribe to Silent Dynasties so you never miss these forgotten histories. Ezana's inscriptions, still visible on the Ezana stone today, record his first major campaign against the Noba, likely Nubian or Beja tribes who lived beyond the empire's northern frontier. The Noba had been raiding trade caravans and defying Aksumite authority. Ezana and Saizana launched a punitive expedition. They crossed the Takazi River, advancing into hostile territory. Over a 23-day pursuit, they defeated the Noba in multiple engagements, burned fortified towns, and captured thousands of people and livestock. This was more than a victory. It was a warning to all who might defy Aksum's power. Tribute flowed in from the north, and the Red Sea trade routes became safer, at least for a time. The Beja tribes posed another challenge. Fierce nomads of the desert, they were skilled in swift, devastating raids. With precision, under Ezana's command, Saizana led a campaign against 6 Beja tribes. The outcome was decisive. The Beja were defeated, and 4,400 people, along with their herds, were forcibly relocated to the fertile province of Matlia in the empire's interior. Strategic, this relocation was not punishment alone. It broke the Beja's independence, integrated them into Aksum's agricultural economy, and secured the northern frontier permanently. Saizana's campaign showed that Aksum's wars were not just about winning battles, but about reshaping the political map. With the northern frontier secure, Ezana and Saizana turned east. The Himyarite kingdom in modern Yemen controlled part of the incense trade and could threaten Aksum's maritime dominance. The brothers launched a naval expedition across the Red Sea, one of the earliest recorded African overseas campaigns. Aksumite fleets landed on Arabian shores, established garrisons, and forged alliances with local rulers. Control of both sides of the Red Sea meant Aksum could tax and monitor every major shipment passing through this vital trade artery. Inscriptions from Ezana's reign list him as King of Aksum, Himyar, Saba, Beja, Kasu, titles reflecting his expanded influence. Ezana's conversion to Christianity marked a turning point. Coins that once bore pagan symbols now carried the cross. Churches were built, and Christian inscriptions replaced invocations to the old gods. This was not only a spiritual decision, but a political masterstroke. By aligning with the Christian Roman Empire, Ezana positioned Aksum as a trusted partner in trade and diplomacy. Yet, when the Roman Emperor Constantius II tried to recall Frumentius and replace him with an Arian bishop, Ezana refused, keeping his religious independence intact. Saizana's support for his brother's faith ensured the army stood behind the king's decision, preventing internal divisions. Persian chroniclers listed Aksum among the 4 great powers of the known world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. Roman writers spoke of Adulis as a hub of luxury goods. Indian traders carried Aksumite coins back to their homelands. Through military might, strategic relocations, overseas campaigns, and religious diplomacy, Ezana and Saizana had elevated Aksum from a regional kingdom to a global player. Ezana is remembered as a king who combined military skill, political wisdom, and spiritual vision. Saizana is remembered as a general whose campaigns secured the empire's borders and brought entire peoples into the Aksumite fold. Together, they ensured that Aksum would endure for centuries as a Christian empire, a beacon of African power, sovereignty, and culture in the ancient world. Their story is carved in stone, scattered in inscriptions from Ethiopia to Yemen, and preserved in the faith traditions of a nation that still traces its Christianity back to the reign of Ezana and the sword of Saizana. Want more history that challenges everything you thought you knew about Africa's past? Subscribe to Silent Dynasties, where the lost empires rise again.